Welcome to Chamber Chat. I'm Judy Taylor, President of the Habersham County Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for joining us. Today I have Major General Jim Butterworth with the Georgia National Guard and Todd Pealock with Habersham EMC. So please stay with us. We have an exciting program today. And my first guest is General Butterworth. Welcome, General Butterworth.
Good morning, Dr. Taylor. Thank you very much for letting me be here.
Oh, I just appreciate so much you're taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with us.
Thank you.
But since we have just celebrated Memorial Day,
Yes, ma'am.
it just seems so appropriate for you to be on this program. We do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm honored to represent our team. We're 15,000 strong in the Georgia National Guard, including about 700 folks who are currently deployed overseas. So on their behalf, I'm honored to be here and visit with you a little bit.
Well, I just appreciate it so much. And General Butterworth, I understand that the Georgia National Guard has recently had a huge honor bestowed upon it. Tell us about that.
Yes, ma'am. And technically it was an award, and it's an award we've been trying to win for about 12 years. And on the Army side, and the Guard is made up of the Army and the Air National Guard. And on the Army National Guard side, there's a program called the Army Communities of Excellence, and it is a self-assessment type program where the organization goes and visits with our customers. We identify who our customers are, and they are both state and federal customers that we provide any type of service to. And we use some Malcolm Baldrige criteria and some Lean Six Sigma type programs.
With all that.
There you go. Yes, ma'am. And that's what we're talking about. And teams from the Army come in and audit our process and see how we're doing. And of 54 different National Guard organizations in the country, that's all 50 states plus Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the District of Columbia. Of 54, Georgia is #1. So our folks are very well represented.
That is tremendous.
Yes, ma'am.
That is just hard to comprehend. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
General Butterworth, many people don't understand the multifaceted things that the Georgia National Guard does daily.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm included. We just don't understand what you do on a daily basis.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you kind of elaborate on that?
You bet. Our team, typically, you've heard the term weekend warriors, and maybe back in the day, the National Guard, we were completely part-time, and the old saying about 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer, that's when our folks are put on active duty. But a large part of our organization is 24/7, 365 days a year. Just about any job that's done in the active duty Air Force or in the active duty Army is also done somewhere in the National Guard. And we have a lot of different presence across the state, but our folks, like I mentioned already, are also deployed around the world. And I think that's the thing that folks don't understand, that compared to the way it used to be, we're a lot busier than we used to be. But on top of that international presence, we also have a presence right here in the state, and sometimes that's the more visible part of what we do. We respond when the governor says, "Hey, we've had a hurricane approach the coast, and we need some military presence, including all of our federal resources that we have available." The governor can call our units up, and our folks can respond. And quite frankly, we're the only part of the Department of Defense that is capable of responding inside the state of Georgia, and very, very quickly, and with a very strong presence.
Well, that makes all of us feel safer.
It is a good reason to, because we've got a great team. I love bragging on them.
Well, you have reason to brag on them.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to ask you a very maybe personal question even, but do you still have troops in harm's way, or are all your troops home now?
No, ma'am. We have almost 1,000, really right at close to 700, or a little over 700, really, folks that are deployed in Afghanistan and some other parts around the world. And they're very much in harm's way. And we pray for their safe return. We pray for their families while they're away. And that might be a whole nother segment of discussion for the families and the support that's needed for our families while our folks are gone. But the answer to your question is we still have a lot of folks who are deployed.
Well, we all need to remember these people.
Yes, ma'am.
We really, really do.
That would be appreciated.
Well, tell us, I know you've had a lot of highlights in the 2012 year.
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
us some of the highlights from the 2012 year, because 2013 is just getting started.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we did do the Army Community of Excellence. That was an audit that we did in the latter part of 2012, and got some pretty good feedback for that. We also deployed in 2012. We deployed over 1,000 people into war zones around the country and around the world. We have a presence on the southwest border of the United States, the border with Mexico and the United States, and we supported the Border Patrol. That effort was something that really is still ongoing. We've been there, and we're actually going to go back this fall as well in 2013. On the air side, we've had a number of Air Force Outstanding Unit Awards. The Air Force awards these different units that award for the entire organization when they're delivering. It's not unusual for a National Guard organization, an Air Guard organization, to get one of these awards, but we've gotten several. It's unusual for us to get the number that we've gotten with regard to one national organization. One of our units down in Warner Robins, they just received their 16th Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, and it's a first-class team.
General Butterworth, it seems as if so much has happened since you came on board as Adjutant General. I remember going to I called it an installation service. What did you
Yes,
call
ma'am.
it? Changing of the guards?
It's a change of command, yes, ma'am. That's technically that's what it was, but your term is right too.
When were you installed as Adjutant General?
That was September 30th, 2011.
2011.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So we're approaching 2 years. Hard to believe it's been almost 2 years, but
it is, but we
time
have been
flies.
hearing some really good things in
Well.
those 2 years. I know that recently you were a speaker at the church that I go to. You were a speaker for I believe it's called the Veterans and Patriots at the First Baptist Church of Cornelia.
Yes, ma'am.
And my husband came home so impressed.
Well, that's a great group, and I love going and talking to groups like that because being able to be there and be with folks who have served and who can tell some pretty incredible stories, it sort of makes me raise the bar a little bit too, so that I can make sure that I meet the criteria that they have of addressing them appropriately, because that's important as well, but also remembering their service as well. So especially in a church, actually I also had an opportunity lately or recently to speak at the First Baptist Church in Atlanta.
Okay.
And Dr. Stanley was kind enough to invite me, and that was an incredible experience as well. And that's definitely one of the things that in my role as the Adjutant General that the Governor has appointed me to, when the opportunity presents itself at anywhere to speak, I jump at that opportunity, but especially when a church group wants to hear about what we do. I love to share it because God's been good to me, and I want to make sure that I share that witness.
Well, it just seems as if we're hearing, maybe it's because you're from here, but it just seems as if we're hearing more in the news about good things about the Georgia National Guard than
Right.
we ever have.
Yes, ma'am.
But General Butterworth, we need to cut away for a quick commercial break.
Great. Got to pay the bills, right?
Yes, we do. Oh, please stay with us. We will be right back and continue our discussion with General Butterworth.
This is Mitch Simpson at Mitch Simpson Motors in Cleveland. We've got one of the largest selections of good cars, trucks, and SUVs anywhere in North Georgia. We've always got about 150 to choose from, and most of them are $10,000 or less. Some of them are a whole lot less. So check out what we've got today on our website. It's MitchSimpson.com. Or better yet, just come see us. We're right here in Cleveland at Mitch Simpson Motors.
Thank you for staying with us, and now we will continue our interesting conversation with General Jim Butterworth. And Jim, you brought someone else on the stage while we took a commercial.
Yes, ma'am. And I wanted to introduce Major Chris Powell. He's part of our team, and he's an exemplary member of our Georgia National Guard team. He has served not only in Iraq but also in Afghanistan with the 48th Brigade. Wanted him to have an opportunity to say hello, Dr. Taylor.
Well, we're just happy to have you on here, Chris.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, ma'am.
Because you're kind of local.
Yes, ma'am.
You're kind of from Stevens County, Habersham County, Gwinnett County.
That's right, ma'am.
So
ma'am.
we're happy to have you on. But I just personally want to thank you for your services.
Thank you.
And you have served several deployments, right?
Yes, ma'am. Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, again, thank you.
Thank you.
And General Butterworth, I want to go into something with you that I don't understand much, but I know you can explain it.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is about a state partnership
Right.
that you have with another country.
Right. Yes, ma'am. And it's the country of Georgia. That's every National Guard organization.
Not the state of Georgia.
Not the state of Georgia, that's right. Almost every National Guard organization has a state partner. And the way that I can best explain it is you can never surge trust, meaning you can't, if there is a flare-up in a certain part of the world, we would want to have a relationship with that country. And the National Guard maintains relationships like that in over 100 different countries, like the Republic of Georgia, or formerly known as the Republic of Georgia, which used to be a part of the Soviet Union. And so our folks, we have about 20 folks that are in Tbilisi right now, and they're maintaining solid relationships with a lot of the leaders there in Georgia. And we have similar relationships with a lot of other countries in the same way. And God forbid, but if there is a flare-up in another country and there is a state partner, then we would have a presence and a relationship immediately. And in our case with Georgia, it's over 15 years of continuous presence in that country and maintaining a solid relationship with them.
Great, and that is so interesting. And in a little bit, we're going to break away to a video, but before we do,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want you to address one more situation.
Okay.
And this is, I hear that military men and National Guardsmen have difficulty finding employment when they come back.
Yes, ma'am.
Address that a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. Very briefly, when typically on the Army side, they'll deploy for about 12 months. And in the declining economy that we've had over the last number of years, a 12-month break from whatever their job might be is pretty difficult, because if they're privately employed, if they have their own customer base, some of their customers may have gone and looked for the services that those folks have been providing. They'll go look somewhere else. There are some recall rights if the company is still solvent and if their job is still there. But in some cases, our folks will come home from a deployment and that company will be gone. And so they immediately have to go look for a different job. And so the thing that I would tell you is you can't find any better employee than a member of the military, number one, current or former, but especially our Georgia National Guard members.
Well, in my opinion, it just seems as if they would be given preferential treatment.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so.
Coming back, it just seems as if they would.
There's not a legal requirement, but I would certainly hope that, you know, these folks that have volunteered to maintain our democracy and the vision that our founding fathers have, we would definitely give them an ounce of consideration.
And the leadership that they learn while they're there.
Amen.
And involved.
Yes, ma'am.
So it just seems as if they would be given first priority.
There you go.
But General Butterworth, I know that if you will speak briefly to the activity that the Georgia National Guard has had with the anti-drug, anti-terrorism
Right.
activity on the Mexico-Texas border.
Right.
Then we're going to cut away to a video
Okay.
that explains that a lot
Sure.
in
yeah.
detail.
Mark Winnie did a great job. He traveled with our folks out to Laredo, Texas, and that's one of the places that the Border Patrol has a presence and a partnership with the National Guard, and our folks are out there, the boots in the sky. They're out there monitoring the border, flying over the border with some of our Lakota aircraft, and doing an incredible job, as the video shows.
Thank you, and we will break away to that now, and when we come back, we will have our last guest for today, Todd Pealock with Habersham EMC.
This evening, dramatic numbers show that Georgia's boots in the sky are keeping drugs from coming into the metro area from Mexico. Channel 2's investigative reporter Mark Winnie showed you this week how the Georgia National Guard is helping patrol the Mexican border. He is back live now in Cobb County with real numbers on how it is stopping drug and human smuggling. Mark?
An official says the future of the Lakota chopper ops on the border is uncertain, but it's certainly been effective. More information now, additional information about the mission and some of the men who make it happen.
If it keeps it away from my kids, I'm doing my job.
It's personal to me. They're bringing drugs, illegal people, terrorists across that border.
In Laredo, Texas, Georgia, National Guard Chief Warrant Officer 3, Ron Young, clambered through the darkness into a Lakota helicopter.
On course, maintain 4,000.
Nearly a decade after one of the darkest days of his life.
2003, actually, March 23rd, I was shot down in Iraq and taken captive and held for 23 days.
One might say the world learned of Young's commitment to defending his country. Recently, we flew with him by the Rio Grande as he helped the U.S. Border Patrol defend the border.
It's been a blessing that the Georgia National Guard is here assisting us.
But we got an extraordinary glimpse of what it can be like without that blessing. Rewind to 2010. Nightfall on the Arizona-Mexico border. A Border Patrol agent is using infrared technology that we're told can scan 10 miles in any direction. He alerts other agents to a group of possible smugglers on the move.
A little bit south.
But without night-capable air support, agents spend 3 hours searching in the dark, snake-infested brush.
The Rattler.
And the smugglers drop out of range and escape.
We're just going to go ahead and pull out of the area. Hopefully that'll draw them out.
Now fast forward to Texas, January 2013, and a big difference. The National Guard's Lakota choppers, so-called boots in the sky. Technology plays a key role, especially the heat imaging system. The Lakota brings light to the night.
Negative. Now he's getting ready to hop the fence.
Its night vision camera, able to track suspects the Border Patrol agents on the ground can't see yet. Also,
Your light is how powerful?
The light is a little over 65 million candle power. It has the latest and greatest technology you can possibly put into an airframe like this. It was directly meant to go for the Homeland Security role.
We own the night.
Captain Richie Gibbons says the choppers work. That a boots-on-the-ground guard operation in 30 months tallied 4,002 apprehensions of suspected illegal immigrants. But the boots-in-the-sky operation in less than 9 months, less than a third as long, has totaled more than 16,000. For marijuana seizures, boots on the ground, 17,000 pounds plus. Boots in the sky, more than 49,000. But beyond machines and numbers, there are the motivations of the men and women who make the missions happen, like Staff Sergeant Chuck Hauser.
I believe that our job out here is to stop the drugs.
That car's full of dope right now.
If doing it here keeps drugs from coming to Atlanta, then we're doing our job.
Georgia has become a transportation hub.
You believe drugs coming across the Laredo border are making it here?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get them tugged out.
And Captain Scott Carden, the pilot for whom it's partly personal.
I have a stepsister. She died.